courage and compassion to make the best decisions for all of the residents of Fremont County. I would also like to lift up all of our other county employees and ask that you watch over them and guide them as they go about their work this day and in the days ahead. And all these prayers we send to you in Christ's name. Amen.
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 I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, Joe. Roll call, please.
Commissioner McFall.
Present.
Commissioner Bell.
Present.
County Attorney Jackson.
Present.
County Manager Croce.
Present.
Planning and Zoning Director Victoria.
Present.
Thank you. Approval of today's agenda.
Mr. Chair, I am unaware of any changes we need to make to today's agenda, so I move to approve as presented.
Second, that has been moved and seconded. Oh, sorry. Roll call, please. Wrong meeting. No discussion.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Motion carries.
There's some meetings we have where we have to do the roll call like that ourselves, so get confused which meeting I'm on here. On to the consent agenda. I would make a note that there is a resolution there from a previous meeting, and that'll be resolution number 25. And that we are not scheduling any public hearings. I thought we
We are
had one.
scheduling
We are
a public
scheduling a
hearing.
public hearing.
Here. Right here.
Oh, it's all there. Gosh. We're scheduling a public hearing for September 12th, 2023, and it is proposed regulations. It's changing. Right now we have, I believe, 6 agricultural zones. This is a proposed to change them to 3, so it kind of consolidates some of them. Residential 1 zone, agriculture suburban and agriculture estates. Residential 2, agriculture rural and agriculture living. Residential 3, agriculture farming and ranching and agriculture forestry zones. So we'll have a public hearing on that. If anybody's interested in coming and talking about that at that time, it'll be September 12th at 10 o'clock.
10 a.m.
And with that, I'll move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Motion carries.
We'll move on to administration and informational stuff. Staff will start with sales and use tax report from Sean Sutton, our financial officer. Good morning, Sean.
Morning, Sean.
Morning, all. Hope you're having a nice morning. We'll be going over the retail sales tax and auto use sales tax collection report for June and July. So start off with the retail sales tax for Fremont County portion totaled $850,988, which was $36,741 more than 2022. Year to date, we've collected $114,114, which is $313,307 more than 2022. And year to date, we are $598,114 ahead of our 2023 budget. The next report will be the auto use sales tax report through July. Portion totaled $115,709, which is $1,714 less than 2022. Year to date, we've collected $874,409, which is $29,477 more than 2022. And year to date, we are ahead of budget at $188,992. Lodging report. This is a quarterly collections, which totaled $90,403, which is $31,657 more than 2022. Year to date, collected a total of $154,194, which is $45,949 more than 2022. However, I did want to point out that in July of 2022, we had a kind of unusual collection of $27,000, $27,259 to be exact. So we don't estimate or consider that to be normal. So maybe only slightly ahead of the 2022 collections, maybe by about $17,000, $18,000. So we'll note that and just kind of look to see what happens next month. The sheriff resale sales tax collection portion totaled $567,325. This is $24,494 more than 2022. Year-to-date, we're at $3,032,069, which is $208,862 more than 2022. And we are ahead of the 2023 budget by $182,069. Sheriff portion auto use sales tax collection totaled $77,140, which is $1,142 less than 2022. Year-to-date, we've collected $582,940, which is $4,746 less than 2022. However, to budget, we are $116,273 ahead. So overall, good numbers for June and July. As we've indicated in previous months, with longer days and warmer months, our sales tax does increase. So we'll kind of see proof is in the pudding if that will continue throughout the rest of the year. Any questions that you may have?
Thanks, Sean.
Yeah, no questions. It looks like everything's right on track and steady, and that's what we like to see. So
Maybe even
thanks
slightly
for
ahead.
bringing us good news this morning.
You're sure welcome.
Slightly ahead is good. When we budget conservatively because we don't know. It's a guessing game.
Yes,
And
sir.
it looks like we've done pretty good this time, and if it holds, we'll be in good shape. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Sean.
All right, thank you.
All right, we'll move on to the clerk's monthly report. Justin Grantham, clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Total motor vehicle fees, sales tax, and recording fees collected for July of this year were $1,347,575.01. Fremont County's portion for disbursement are $759,739.31, which is 56% of the total fees and is $76,820.37 more than July of last year. Year-to-date, our office is up $110,946.26.
The fluctuation there, first part of the year, you were
kinda
kind of
turned around.
behind, and now it's kind of turned around, yeah.
Like Financial Director Mr. Sutton said, you know, the summer months bring us a lot of the telltale of
Right.
how the county's really faring, and it's really productive this summer. So we have probably one more summer month to go, and then you'll start seeing a slowdown, especially the real estate market. You'll see the reflection here too. So as it gets colder, people don't, and inventory. If inventory is not there, they go somewhere else to shop. So we'll start seeing a slowdown, but I don't see that number dipping down any further.
That portion for disbursement, over $759,000, that's good news for all of our special districts here in Fremont County who receive a portion of that, so.
Absolutely. That percentage is based off of the percentage of money total collected from sales tax. That's, the disbursement is truly the specific ownership tax that's dispersed amongst all the entities. So Fremont County is not the biggest part of that pie,
By far.
by
By
far.
far.
The school districts are.
It's one of the smallest.
All right, thank you for that, Mr. Clerk. And with that, Mr. Chair, I move to accept this month's County Clerk Monthly Report.
I will second that. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Moving on, we'll move on to Tony Croce for County Manager's Report. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. So Fremont County has the following job opportunities posted. Fremont County Sheriff's Department in detention. We need detention deputies and a master control officer. And we have an office assistant position that will be shared between our IT and facilities department. So for more information about employment opportunities with Fremont County, go to our county website at fremontco.com, or you can call our HR department at 719-226-7410. Our Finance and Budget Director, Sean Sutton, and I continue to meet with department heads and elected officials about their 2024 budgets to develop the preliminary budget sheets prior to our initial budget meeting with the county commissioners in September. The Grandview Avenue Bridge and a portion of Grandview Avenue east and west of the bridge, about 500 feet east and west of the bridge, will be closed during the day until Friday, September 1st. The bridge will be closed from 7 a.m. till 7 p.m. while crews work to replace underground utilities to prepare the area for a future bridge replacement. The intersection of Steinmeier and Grandview Avenue will continue to be open for the north and westbound traffic. Colin Orchards and 4 Mile Veterinary Clinic will be open, so please use Justice Center Road or Mackenzie Avenue to avoid any delays, and we appreciate your cooperation and patience. And I believe that's all I have today.
All right, thanks, Tony. I think it's, thanks for mentioning that bridge. Colin Orchards is in full swing over there, and there's a lot of traffic uses that road. Unfortunately, the timing is just what it is. We've been working on this bridge for well over a couple of years, and finally have it in order. Once they get these utilities moved, then we'll be able to replace the bridge, so then it'll be down for a while as well, but it's much needed to be replaced, so thanks for that.
Yeah, I just would say, I use that road myself, as does Clerk Grantham,
Yes.
and it's going to be hard for us to remember. We have to go around, but we will go around, so thanks, Tony.
I wish I had known last night.
Found out the hard way, huh?
Yes, I did.
All right, now we'll turn to the other elected officials or anyone else up here.
I
Commissioner
have
Bell.
nothing today, I don't think, but thank you,
Wow,
Mr. Chair.
who's
I
taking
know.
minutes for this?
Take
You have
notes.
that down? for the-
Yes, I have that down, but
Okay.
I do have something if you
Okay,
don't mind.
Clerk Grantham.
But
This is the time, if you haven't registered to vote or you moved and you haven't updated your voter registration, now is the time because the election's right around the corner. We'll be sending out ballots here in 2 months, which means we need all active voters, new addresses in the next month. We do send out UOCAVA ballots in September as well. We have a lot of coordinating entities this time around. All 4 school districts have put in for candidates that they'll have on the ballot. The 2 major cities are also going to have candidate elections, and there's going to be questions on the ballot from the state level all the way down to the municipal level. So it's going to be a full ballot, and if you want to vote, you'll have your opportunity to vote your mail ballot or come in person and start in October. So.
Okay, thank you. That's a great segue. Commissioner Grantham couldn't be with us today, but he wanted me to mention on that ballot will be a, what is it, a referendum, HH?
It's a proposition.
Proposition, HH. It's came out in the news the last few days, or actually for a while, and the governor's answer to our rising property taxes, which we're all frustrated at anyway, but the HH is basically going to take our Tabor refunds from us and then backfill into the governments, which is not the way that's supposed to work. So a big, huge no on HH when it comes out on that ballot. There's flat out not telling the truth about what that really is up there in Denver. So do your research on that, but vote no on HH. We want to keep our Tabor return overs that belong to the voters, that belong to the people of Colorado. So no on HH is what we need to do. One last thing, we've had a lot of moisture this spring, and the fire fuels have grown tall. Now they're starting to dry out a little bit, and the winds are getting bad. So as I always say, be very careful and diligent when you're out. Go out and enjoy the outdoors, but be careful because the fire danger is pretty high. And especially with the winds like they're starting to blow, we may get some rain tomorrow and this weekend it looks like, but still it's dry. So be very careful when you're out there playing. Anything else from up here? Okay, we'll move on to citizens who wish to address the commissioners of matters not scheduled on the agenda. I don't have any, but is there anybody here that would like to say anything? Okay, seeing none. We will move on to our first order of old business, which is a reconsideration of a malt venison spirituous liquor special events permit for Nature's Educators for an event at 1194 County Road 110 in Florence, which is, why can't I remember the Desert Reef? Thank you. I need to write that down because I just can't remember the name of that. And it is to be held on August 26th. We tabled this from a previous meeting and suspended the license until we had this meeting because of possible sanitation issues or sewer issues.
yes, all right.
So is there anybody here to represent any of that? There's not. Okay, so they did have one event. There is some problems with the facilities, septic systems, I guess. So that is why we tabled it, because when you add a bunch of people to an event, there needs to be proper sanitation facilities. And we didn't feel that there were. Do you have any comments on this?
I'm not sure if we have staff who would like to comment first, and then I may.
Wyatt. All right. Billing official.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. This started out with a sanitation system or a septic system at this property, and the ability for it to handle more hydraulic demand with these events that's, taken place. I did have an opportunity to speak with the state plumbing inspector. Their restroom facilities, they did get denied again or turned down. One of the reasons was for mixing valves that are in the lavatories that keep basically anti-scald situations. And also, they did not have a potable water test. So they don't know if the waters could possibly be contaminated, so they need that test in order to ensure that nobody would get sick if they happen to ingest the water. I did have an opportunity to speak with the contractor that was installing the septic system or repairing the septic system. He said that everything that the engineer of record requested on their inspection was taken care of. At the time I spoke with him, he was with the engineer. They were not at this site, so the engineer did not have an opportunity to go out there and ensure that it was done. But I would only have to assume that the contractor would not say these type of things in front of the engineer that was present at the time. Our intention never was to stop or reject or have you suspend a liquor license for this event. This event is a fundraising event. Our intention was to get the sanitation portion of this property functioning properly. So if you have any other recommendations like chemical toilets or something like that, I would go with that.
So Wyatt, thank you. I appreciate that. Nature's Educators is using it for a fundraiser. It's not their fault that all these problems
Correct.
are happening. And I was going to recommend that today, that maybe if we use, allow them to use chemical portable toilets for the event.
Correct.
And hope to help with the sanitation potential problem. My question on that would be how many, if there's 100 extra people at that place, how many toilets does that?
I'm not the one to determine the capacity of each chemical toilet. I believe that would be the, the provider that, takes care of these chemical toilets. I'm sure there's an occupancy load, but
Right.
it varies.
We have had some discussion about this, and much like you, Wyatt, we don't feel it's appropriate to punish Nature's Educators for having a fundraiser at an event with some circumstances that truly are beyond their control. And so we did have a conversation earlier about requiring chemical toilets instead. And so I think I'm prepared with a motion, Mr. Chair, if you're ready.
Thanks, Wyatt.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Chair, I move to lift the suspension of the malt, Venice, and spirituous liquor special events permit for Nature's Educators located at, Desert Reef, 1194 County Road 110 in Florence on August 26th from 4 to 10 p.m. To lift the suspension, restore the license with the contingency and requirement of sufficient portable chemical toilets for those who are expected to attend.
Okay, I'll second that. It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? One, I would just ask Ms. Jackson if she would send that letter to those folks with that requirement. Thank you, ma'am. Roll call, please.
It's probably ready.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. All right, we'll move on to new business. The first item is a Suicide Prevention Awareness Month, and we have a proclamation, and we have Miss Jessica Cobbler here this morning with us. Good morning.
Good morning.
Are you reading it, or do you want me to read it?
You can read it if you'd like. If you would rather, we can read it as well.
Do you have a copy? I didn't bring a copy.
I don't have a printed copy.
I'm sorry.
We have it up there.
We have it up there. We have a printed one. Do you want to read it?
Oh, do you have a printed? Okay.
Let's get this.
Sorry.
National Suicide Prevention Month, September 2023. Whereas Fremont County is home to more than 46,000 people, a place of destination for thousands of visitors annually, and the site of about a dozen state and federal correctional facilities. And whereas Fremont County Coroner reported that 19 suicides were investigated in 2022, 2 of which were offenders in the state or federal prison. And whereas Fremont County's average number of deaths by suicide typically is 24 to 30 per year, and whereas 90% of those who died by suicide had a diagnosable mental health condition at the time of their death, according to the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. And whereas in 2020, suicide was Colorado's 8th leading cause of death and the 2nd leading cause of death for ages 10 to 44. And whereas 8 times as many people died by suicide in 2019 than in alcohol-related motor vehicle accidents. And whereas on average there are 132 suicides per day in the US. And whereas 54% of Americans have been affected by suicide in some way. Now therefore let it be proclaimed by the County Commissioners of Fremont County that September 2023 is hereby designated as National Suicide Prevention Month in Fremont County. The county commissioners do urge all people of Fremont County to become educated on suicide prevention, awareness, and support those affected by suicide during this month and throughout the year.
Thanks, Jessica. I've also got the pictures of Dalton here. I held it the last few years. I'll hold it again.
Do it again.
I just want to say thank you again. This is the 7th year to do the proclamation. Kind of had to go back and look at my emails to figure that out. My 7th year for sharing about Dalton and inviting you to the Out of the Darkness Community Walk. Carrie couldn't be with us today, but a big shout out to Carrie Canterbury because she's the one that always does the proclamation every year and updates it. First, I want to invite you all to the 7th annual Fremont County Out of the Darkness Community Walk hosted by the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. The walk will take place on Saturday, September 9th, beginning at 9 a.m. at Centennial Park here in Canyon City. The walk is just a few miles along the beautiful river walk in Canyon. We will have a silent auction, a memory board where you can post a picture of your loved one or write a message or their name. I always say this is an event of hope, healing, and connection. We've got great support from the community for the past 7 years, and I really would invite you just to come and see what it's about. You can find all walk information and registration can be found at afsp.org/Fremont. So, you guys all know my story. For those of you that don't know, my 18-year-old son, Dalton, died by suicide on June 18th, 2014. He really was an amazing young man. He was kind, smart, had a great sense of humor. He loved to learn. Dalton had just graduated less than a month prior as the 2014 Florence High School valedictorian and was planning on attending the Colorado School of Mines to pursue a degree in chemical engineering. As I prepared today, I always think I want to say something different, kind of change it up a little bit. But then I realize he is why I'm here. I don't have any news stories, updated pictures of Dalton. Unfortunately, that is one of the tragic things about suicide. I have to continue to share his story and be his voice and be the voice for so many lost to suicide. I am by no means an expert. I'm a mom who lost her son to suicide. 2 words I thought of while I was getting ready to write were survivor and grief. I'm a survivor of losing my son to suicide, and grief is with me daily. I would like to share what I wrote about being a survivor. Being a survivor means I have to keep going, live life, create new memories, and find joy. Being a survivor means there's a hole in my heart that cannot be filled or fixed. Being a survivor means having a stronger relationship with my husband and my son. Being a survivor means being a member of suicide loss Facebook pages and a local suicide loss support group, meeting other moms who are on this journey, some much longer than me, which gives me hope, and some new to this journey who I want to give hope to. These women have made a big impact in my life, and I'm very grateful for them. Being a survivor means working to bring awareness to suicide prevention and mental health, stepping out of my comfort zone in hopes of preventing another family from having to go through this. Being a survivor means facing my own mental health and newfound anxiety. Being a survivor means learning that sometimes there are no signs shown prior to a suicide, that high school achievers are at high risk for suicide, that track stars, wrestlers, artists, popular kids, lonely kids, moms, dads, brothers, uncles have all died by suicide. Being a survivor means if this can happen to my family, it can happen to yours. Being a survivor means people reach out to me when suicide has affected their life. Being a survivor means I am not in this journey alone. Sometimes it can feel that way, but no one understands what this is like. But unfortunately, there are many others on this journey too. Being a survivor means learning that suicide does not discriminate. Being a survivor means learning that not everyone will stay on this journey with you. Being a survivor means we have a long way to go to end the stigma of mental health. Being a survivor means that I will not let that one day define Dalton's life. Being a survivor means I am thankful for the 18 short years I had with him, but sad for all the years I didn't get. Being a survivor means I'm afraid people will forget him. Being a survivor means it does not get easier, it gets different. Being a survivor means 9 years and 2 months seems like forever, yet seems like yesterday. Being a survivor means I will always be his mom, I will always be proud of him and keep his memory alive. Being a survivor means suicide sucks, but I am a survivor. I can't bring Dalton back, but the most I can do is honor his life by trying to save another. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Jessica.
If I could.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I would just, again, Jessica, like to thank you so much for being here, for keeping this memory alive for all of us. Unfortunately, I did not know Dalton when he was here and still alive, but I think I've gotten to know him pretty well over the last 7 years or so. And the thing I would say is if someone like Dalton can choose suicide, it can happen to anyone.
Yes.
And I think that's the message that we're here today trying to give. And so keep an eye on the people in your life.
Right.
Talk to them. If you think they're considering, talk to them, get them some help. There is a lot of local help. There are national hotlines. The stigma is easing. The stigma is erasing because people are starting to understand more and more and more. And I think that your walk that you do every day, every year, and this proclamation as well has gone a long way towards helping that. So I just wanted to say thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I just want to add a little bit to that too. It's been a problem nationally, not just locally. We've all probably know somebody or have had somebody that has committed suicide. But there's a new hotline, 988 is a suicide mental health hotline. And by calling that, you're connected with a mental health professional. And we have some locally too, Sylvista. Jill Anderson from Sylvista was supposed to be here as well. We do have Brian Turner here from Sylvista, but we have help right here locally. So reach out. The help is out there, and call 988 if you don't feel comfortable going and seeing anybody. But we thank you for being here again as normal, and nobody will forget him because of you.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
With that, Mr. Chair, I move to approve the Suicide Prevention Awareness Month proclamation for the month of September 2023.
I will second that. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Bell,
Aye.
Commissioner McFall,
Aye.
motion carries.
Thanks again. Thank you. Oh, sure. Want to do a quick picture?
Yeah. This too.
Thank you.
Okay. We'll move on to the next item.
It is 10 o'clock. We have a public hearing
It
scheduled
is
at
10 o'clock. Okay, the hour has come 10 o'clock, so we do have a public hearing, and it is on SRU 23001. It's a major modification for Captain Zipline Play Dirty ATV tours. They're proposing a major modification to their existing permit to move the existing operations from 1500 County Road 45, located at 520 County Road 54. Woo!
Easy for you.
Yeah, right? Which are the current permitted zipline locations to strictly the 520 County Road 54 location. So we're moving from County Road 45 to 54. The operations will include check-ins, office-type work associated with the business, all traffic and parking associated with the business, plus be the starting and ending point for ATV tours. The modification also includes proposed restrooms. That is a 10 by 20. And we have Diane Spomer. Okay, you want to come on up? And I will open the public hearing.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Doing good.
Good. If you want to just explain a little more about what I just tried to read.
Sure. Well, first of all, thanks for hearing our application. This is Josh. He's one of our other owners. Currently, our customers come to the Visitor Center on County Road 45. We're proposing to eliminate that traffic down that stretch of road so that customers can drive straight up to the zip line and check in rather than driving to the Visitor Center, following us up, coming back down, doing a lunch break, driving back up, and sometimes they drive back down the road to buy merchandise at the end and then leave. And then it would hereby eliminate all of that road traffic back and forth. We have the facilities up top. We've got the current parking lot. We have our office, I guess you will. It's we always call it the Zip Shack, but it's always been the starting or congregating place when tours start over the years. They always check in there, or not check in, but arrive there and then check in to get their harnesses and gears, do the practice training, and then go out on the zip line. So we'd like to just move the entire operation up there and to alleviate all the traffic. Same with Play Dirty. It's easier for them because once the customers arrive on site, They can rent the ATVs and then drive down the unmaintained road straight into the BLM and alleviate traffic on County Road 45.
Okay.
All right.
Any questions
That's
so
kind of
far?
it in a nutshell.
Thanks.
Not at this time.
At this time, we have a staff report, please.
Absolutely. Hello, everyone.
Good morning.
So yeah, the map we have up right now kind of shows how removing that County Road 45 Visitor Center check-in area would really alleviate traffic on County Road 45 and keep all of their operations on one site, kind of clean things up a little bit in that area. So Captain Zipline has held an active permit since 2007 at the 54 location and the 45 location. They've done multiple modifications over the years to make improvements, and this is just another improvement they're trying to make to their business. Let's see here. Their lighting is all, their lighting at the 54 location is all solar, and nothing new is proposed. They have been working very closely with Fremont County Weed Management. There's a invasive List A species up there that they've been handling for many years. So, yep, the elongated mustard. So they've been working very closely with weed management to take care of and address that so it doesn't spread further in our county. We received no public comments or concerns regarding this application. So we have submitted this application to various review agencies and incorporated comments received to date, either in their entirety or in part. FCDOT does not have any concerns at this time, except they request the opportunity to comment further during annual reviews or future submissions that affect this application. The Fremont County engineer, I took a ride with him out there and we met with Josh. There was a discussion about monitoring the area where the ATVs or UTVs would be parked, and if any erosion or any damage to the ground was being noticed, to add crusher fines to kind of stabilize the site to make sure that there's going to be no future issues. The building department believes that during this modification that the use of portable chemical toilets is acceptable, although it's not a permanent solution to sanitation. The building department recommends the installation of an approved septic or vault privy as soon as possible, but not to exceed a 3-year time frame, which the applicant is aware of and agreeable to. Fire protection, their only comments was address numbers should be clearly visible from the county road and a minimum of 4 inches in height. That's been taken care of. Play Dirty has permitting through the Bureau of Land Management and has the ability to renew permitting every year. The only concern from the Bureau of Land Management was if any ATVs or UTVs are operated in the Badger Creek area, that they take precautions due to an invasive species. So that pretty much every 2 weeks they'll have to spray off and decontaminate the ATVs or UTVs, and the vehicles can't leave the site without, besides going up the trail, they can't be brought to a new area without decontamination, and then at the end of the season would require decontamination. Colorado Parks and Wildlife was included during this review, and they provided comments for wildlife encounters and how to minimize those. So with the Play Dirty coming up to the Captain Zipline site, the appropriate number of parking spaces are being supplied. Captain Zipline tours will operate year-round and are conducted from 8:30 in the morning to 10 p.m. Captain Zipline will maintain a ratio of 1 guide per 5 customers with a maximum of 15 customers per tour. And Play Dirty will operate from January of 2023 to November of 2023 with the ability to renew the BLM permits on a reoccurring basis, so their operation would be reoccurring with us as well. Play Dirty ATV will maintain a ratio of 1 guide per 6 customers with a maximum tour size of 18 customers. The applicant has requested a waiver of the landscaping plan. Staff recommendation, having found this application is in compliance with the requirements of the Fremont County zoning resolution, staff recommends approval of this special review use permit major modification application with the following contingencies. And the contingencies are the approval of chemical toilets to be used for a period of time not to exceed 3 years from the date of this modification, which will give the applicant time to install their permanent bathrooms. This was presented to the Planning Commission on July 5th, and the Planning Commission recommended approval of this permit with the condition that the use of chemical toilets not exceed 3 years from the date of approval. And the Planning Commission also recommended approval of the waiver request of landscaping. So that's all I have unless somebody else has some questions.
Okay, questions for Dan?
I have no questions, but I do have a couple of comments
Okay.
that I would like to make. First of all, this plan seems to me as though it makes a lot of sense, and so I would just say thank you for working on this and bringing it forth. Alleviating traffic is always a good thing, and being able to operate just off of one side, I think, probably will benefit you very greatly. I would recount that, yes, we do have that A-list species up there, and it's something that we do take very, very seriously. And so I know you're working with our weed department, and I just encourage you to continue doing so. I also would just say that including your written application to us, we've been looking at a packet that's got 108 pages in it. So there's a ton of information here that answers basically every question that I could even think of to answer, because these packets always include all of the agencies that we work with and deal with, and I think Dan just did a great job of going through those, kind of summarizing the conversations that have been happening. And so I think the only other thing I would add that I don't recall hearing Dan mention is that the Planning Commission for Fremont County did recommend approval of this permit as well. So
Yes, they did.
Okay. I have a question. It's from Ms. Jackson more than anybody. So we have approved that section of County Road 45 from their current offices to 54. We also want to rescind that because it will no longer be necessary for that. We need to do that in a different resolution, in a different meeting?
Yeah, we'll have to do a separate resolution
Okay,
to rescind that.
okay. We'll do that because there will be no reason for that. You guys are aware of all of the conditions and stuff that he talked about and agreed to all of those, and
Yes,
it's not a problem, the
Yes.
parking spaces and everything?
correct. Yeah, we've met with the weed management group twice, if not 3 times, up at the property. The spraying that they did this year, they had to hold off on part of it because of the high wind, but you can definitely see a difference.
good.
Yeah, the
With all the
elongated mustard, I
rain
think
we've
it's
had,
one of the
yeah.
only places in the state of Colorado that weed is, which
Right.
is unfortunate.
Yeah.
And they've been after it for several years and
It's
trying to-
also the only place
trying
that
to
we
keep it
use
at bay.
helicopter
Right.
to
Right.
reach.
because of the
Very
steepness of it.
remote,
Yeah.
yes.
There are videos out there. I've not seen the helicopter myself, but videos of him in the helicopter flying down that draw. It's pretty amazing the way they fly.
It beats climbing over the rocks, which I guess is what they used to do.
Right, yep.
Rappelling, and it's
Yeah.
crazy.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay. This is a public hearing. I will open it up to anyone, if anybody has any comments on this SRU. Okay, I don't see any. So I will close the public hearing and ask for a motion.
Okay, I could do that again. All right, Mr. Chair, I move to approve Special Review Use 23-001, major modification for Captain Zipline and Play Dirty ATV Tours. This is, as explained, the modification consolidating operations to one site, as well as helping to alleviate traffic. This motion does include a waiver of the landscaping plan, as well as the contingency that chemical toilets will be permitted for a time not to exceed 3 years, during which actual built toilets will be made available to your customers.
And the waiver? For the
I included
landscaping,
the
you already said
waiver.
that?
I
Second.
already got that there.
I was still reading, sorry.
It's okay.
Second that. Any further discussion? Just keeping you on your toes there a little bit. Me on my toes.
Okay.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thanks, guys.
All right, thanks,
Thank
good
you
luck.
luck.
very much. Appreciate it.
Sometimes I pay attention to you, I guess. All right, back to the rest of the agenda. We have an adoption of the 2024 Fremont County holiday schedules. And I'll ask our county manager to talk about those. We have two different schedules. We have an 8-hour schedule and a 10-hour schedule.
Okay. So this is our annual holiday schedule that shows which days we will be recognizing as holidays in 2024 for Fremont County government. There are two schedules, as Commissioner McFall just stated, a 4-day, 10-hour schedule and a 8-hour schedule. The request is for a total of 80 hours of holiday leave and 10 hours of floating holiday leave. Once approved, we will post so that our employees and our citizens are aware of the holiday closures and so that everyone, including our employees, can plan accordingly.
All right, thank you. There hadn't been any variations of what we've had in the past, I don't believe, and seemed to work pretty well. Just give people a heads up, but with that, I would make a motion to approve the 2024 Fremont County holiday schedules for the 8-hour and 10-hour schedules.
Second, and just a note of thanks to Tony and our HR department for getting this done, so people can start making arrangements for vacation, holidays, and such things.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. On to item number 3, requesting a transfer of ownership for SRU 20-002. 3134 Maple Lane is a legal description. Lot 5 Dozier Park, filing number 2, from David Reynolds to Stan Yoder. We have Stan Yoder. Good morning, sir. Come on up.
Good morning.
Okay, you want to tell us what you got going on here?
All right, so just purchased property from Dave Reynolds. They're at 3134 Maple Lane. They had applied and approved for the SRU there, and just asking for a change of ownership there to continue the property that they had, the construction that they had started. Everything would stay the same as they had requested earlier.
Meaning the SRU part of the, that's approved?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Dan, can you get a staff report, please?
Yeah, so Stan has been in contact with me. He was, he's purchased this parcel. He's aware of the permitting that is on there, and he's aware that if he wants to make any changes to that or has any additional ideas or anything, that he's got to approach my department for a discussion. So he's willing to comply with the original conditions of the SRU and knows that he'll be talking to me if he wants to change it.
Okay.
So pretty easy.
Any questions?
No questions, just I would mention we do have a letter from you with an actual signature that says exactly what Dan just said. You are aware of the original terms of the special use permit and will move forward with those plans. So thank you for being clear on those issues.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, and I guess just to kind of reiterate, the SRU was approved. It was a public hearing and everything else. There was, I don't think there was anybody even commented on that public hearing, but we'll follow those same guidelines as then.
Yes.
Anything else?
I'm good.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
All right, I have a motion.
Ready for a motion?
Sure, okay. Mr. Chair, I move to approve this transfer of ownership for special review use number 20-002 located at 3134 Maple Lane, moving it from David Reynolds, excuse me, to Stan Yoder, leaving all terms of the original SRU in place.
I will second that. It has been moved and seconded to transfer the ownership of SRU 20-002. As stated, any other further discussion?
No, just wish you the best of luck.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Yeah, good luck to you. Okay, looks like we have nothing else on our agenda, so we are adjourned.